All right, the state-run legacy media mob has clearly not learned their lesson. Despite their rapidly declining relevance, they are still trying to make a name for themselves. But no surprise, picking fights. They do it by picking fights with the Trump administration every chance they get. Watch this exchange between an AP reporter and White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt. Take a look.
When President Trump last addressed the BRT when he was on the campaign trail, his big push was on tax cuts. He's going there today as he's proposing tax hikes in the form of tariffs. And I'm curious,
he's not doing
why.
that.
I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have. They don't get charged on foreign companies. They get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you are trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press.
Checkmate. Anyway, and tariffs were not the only issue driving the media mob crazy today in the briefing room. They also wanted to know why the Trump administration wants to deport the leader of anti-Israel protests at Columbia University at the campus there. Turns out there is a really good reason if they'd only do a little work. Take a look.
This is an individual who organized group protests that not only disrupted college campus classes and harassed Jewish American students and made them feel unsafe on their own college campus, but also distributed pro-Hamas propaganda, flyers with the logo of Hamas. That is what the behavior and activity that this individual engaged in.
All right, here now with our Hannity Washington briefing is the one and only White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt. I don't know what part I like better. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I've read Hamas's charter. Does it not call for the destruction of Israel? Is this not recognized as a known terrorist organization? And if you're in this country and you support a terrorist organization and you're not a citizen in this country, why would one think that you have a right to stay in this country?
Everything you just said is true, Sean, and unfortunately, it appears the liberals in the legacy media think that if you are a foreign national, you can behave in any manner that you want. You can protest and push Hamas propaganda. You can side with a foreign terrorist organization that has killed American citizens, that has murdered innocent babies, men, women, and children across the globe. Under this administration, that type of activity, siding with radical Islamic terrorists, will not stand. And the Trump administration, at the direction of President Trump's executive order, has a zero-tolerance policy for foreign nationals who are given the privilege of getting a visa and going to some of our finest, our nation's finest universities and colleges, studying at those institutions, and then siding with these radical terrorist organizations. And so this arrest that took place on the campus of Columbia is the first of many to come. Secretary Noem and Secretary of State Rubio are working together, and I would like to add and emphasize to the mainstream media who still doesn't get it, this is well within the President and the Secretary of State's authority. Secretary Rubio revoked this individual's visa based on the Immigration and Nationality Act because this individual clearly poses an adversarial consequence to the foreign policy and national interests of our great country. This was the right decision. President Trump promised he would stand up for Jewish American students, and he is delivering on that promise.
Now, do the countries of Canada, does Mexico, does India, do countries in the European Union, do they practice free and fair trade with us, or do they put tariffs on American goods that most Americans don't know about?
America has been ripped off by our adversaries, but even more so by our allies for far too long, especially our neighbors to the north and to the south. If you look at our trade deficits, if you look at the tariffs that Canada in particular has placed on American agricultural goods to the tune of nearly 300%, look at the tariffs they've implemented on our automobiles. And finally, the American people have a president, Sean, who is standing up for them, for hardworking American workers and their families, for our industries, countries. And the beauty of President Trump's tariff policy is that it's very simple. All he's asking for is reciprocity. We are finally going to treat nations the way that they have treated the United States for far too long. And Canada saw, if you want to step up into the big leagues with President Trump, you better be prepared to play. It looks like they are not, because the Ontario Premier already dropped his 25% tariff on electricity after having a bold threat to shut off electricity for the American people. President Trump said absolutely not. He did what is right. He stood by the American people, and his tariff policy is working. It's going to make America wealthy again. It's going to bring jobs back home. And to every investor around the world, if you come to the United States and do business, you will face no tariffs. You will have the lowest taxes on the planet, and that's how we're going to make America strong and wealthy again.
30-day ceasefire. We've come a long way in 11 days when the media and Democrats were saying this is the end of the universe. I predicted that Zelensky would be back. Thankfully, he is. Any word on the other side, that being Vladimir Putin and Russia? Are they any indication they are open? Putin has said publicly he's open to a negotiated settlement. Any progress?
I have not been updated on the progress. I know that Secretary of State Rubio and the National Security Advisor Mike Waltz are working very hard on this. The president is obviously very engaged and involved. He was briefed throughout the day today on the situation unfolding in Saudi Arabia. But to your point, Sean, there were a lot of doubters in the media and here in Washington, D.C. The same foreign policy class that has always doubted President Trump continues to. I'm not sure when they will learn, but the president masters the art of the deal. He is a negotiator in chief, and he put President Zelensky in his place and told him that the Americans are serious about a long-term peace deal, and we are very, very pleased with the way that the Ukrainians and this deal today turned out, and we hope that this will continue in a long and everlasting peace. That's President Trump's goal, and we hope we can deliver on that goal.
I made a promise yesterday. I was buying a Tesla, and people can look at it on Hannity.com or on my X account. It's the most American-made car of any car made in the U.S. I only have about 30 seconds. Can you explain why there's this rabid hatred? What has Elon Musk done to gather this hatred of the left? Because I'm having a hard time understanding it, and I think what they're doing to him is horrible.
Well, I can answer your question very simply. He supported Donald Trump. That's the only reason the left hates him. He's a patriot, and Tesla is a great American-made vehicle, no doubt.
Right, it's the most American-made car in the country, and the one I got actually has over 1,000 horsepower, goes from 0 to 60 in 2.0 seconds, and I think Donald Trump's going to let you drive his new one. I'll make sure that happens. I'll talk to him about that on your behalf. Anyway, Karoline, we appreciate the briefing as always.